Good morning. Okay, we just finished reading chapter 15. Folgers in the morning. I love that coffee. um, all right, we're on chapter 16. And anyway, nothing I want to report on the news or really want to talk about. Love is what God is made of. He's pure, pure love. And our souls are love. And a lot of us lock our love in ourselves and we don't bring it out and forward to other people. And, with the climate, you can't say certain things. You can't touch people at work. You can't, have to be so careful about what you do, at work. Otherwise you'll be labeled a, a sex offender when you didn't do anything or say anything to get that label. And, oftentimes at work, my culture, my deaf culture is a very huggy culture. I grew up hugging everybody. And I had a friend that is also, his parents were deaf, and he went to school first time, and didn't know anything about hearing people, lived in a deaf family all his life. And he went and he hugged everybody. He hugged the teacher. He hugged the janitor. He hugged his students. He hugged other teachers and other people around him. And he got sent home with a note. The note says, you're going to tell your kids stop hugging everybody. Too bad, right? Isn't that sad? You got little kids just loving, and that's just part of deaf culture. And he says, what? Hearing people are not friendly? Anyway, I guess you have to live in that kind of culture maybe to understand the joke, but it's, it's too bad. And so you have to ask, can I hug you? Because touch is life, I believe, okay? It's so important. Even Jesus says so, So, I don't know, I just wanted to bring that out today. Hopefully that's a message to somebody, okay? All right, so chapter 16. And when on the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James and Salome, had brought some sweet spices, that they might come and anoint him. And very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came into the sepulchre at the rising of the sun, and they said among themselves, who shall roll away the stone from the door of the sepulchre? How are we going to get in? And they looked and saw that the stone was rolled away, for it was very great. If you've seen the stone, the actual stone, it's huge, And then they looked and they saw the stone was rolled away, and it was very great. And entering the sepulchre, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, clothed in a long white garment, and they were frightened. And they said unto them, be not afraid. You seek Jesus of Nazareth, which was crucified, and he is risen. He is not here. Behold the place where they laid him. Wouldn't that be cool if they saw an angel? I just think that's so great. And but go your way and tell the disciples that, and Peter. See, he already forgave Peter. That he goeth before you into Galilee. There shall you see him. as he said unto you. And they went out quickly and fled from the sepulchre, and they trembled and were amazed. Neither said they anything to any man, for they were afraid. Right? Okay. And then when Jesus was risen early, when Jesus was risen early, the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had cast 7 devils. And she went out and told them that had been with him, as they mourned and wept. And they, when they had heard that he was alive and had been seen of her, believed not. They didn't believe her. Okay, so after they appeared in another form unto 2 of them, as they walked and went into the country. And they went and told it unto the residue, neither believed they them. Okay. Afterward he appeared unto the 11, this King James is hard to read, so I'm sorry. Afterward he appeared unto the 11 as they sat at the meat, and upbraided them with their unbelief and hardness of heart, because they believed not them which had seen him after he was risen. And he said unto them, Go ye into all of the world, and preach the gospel to every creature. He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned. And these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name they shall cast out devils. They shall speak with new tongues. They shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. So then, after the Lord had spoken unto them, he was received up into heaven, and sat on the right hand of God. And they went forth and preached everywhere, the Lord working with them, confirming the word with signs following. Amen. Okay, now we are in the book of Luke. I'm in a very French mood. I've been practicing my song, Autumn Leaves. And so I have, it's actually from a song that was taken from the French song after World War II. And, you can look it up and do your own research on it if you want. Anyway, so just in a French mood. Okay, the Gospel of Luke. I'll do a little summary, as I always do. Hopefully these summaries are helpful. I hope so. The Gospel of Luke. He was the beloved physician and the reputed author of Acts, both books being addressed to the same person. Luke was a close friend and traveling companion of Paul, as is shown in his personal allusion recording the journeys of the apostles. See the book of Acts, where the author changes the pronouns to we and us, indicating that he himself was present at these times. Many students see something of the stamp of Paul's doctrine in Luke's gospel. The exact date of the writing of the gospel is unknown, but if it were written after Luke came under Paul's influence, it would be quite natural that the latter should give some coloring to the narrative. To whom address is Theophilus, an unknown person. Internal evidence indicates that the book was written especially for the Gentiles. This is inferred from the fact that the writer takes pains to explain Jewish customs and sometimes substitutes Greek names for Hebrew. The purpose to give a connection and an orderly narrative of the life of Christ seen by an eyewitness. The distinctive features in this gospel is the gospel of the universal grace of God. Yes, and it is the gospel of the Son of Man. It emphasizes Christ's sympathetic attitude towards the poor, the lowly, the outcasts, the poor disciples, the woman, Mary Magdalene, the Samaritans, the publicans, sinners, the deserted beggar, the lepers, the dying thief. Devotional gospel, especially emphasized prayer, contains 3 parables on prayer not found in other gospels: the friend at midnight, the unjust judge, the Pharisee and publican. Contains Christ's prayers at his baptism, the wilderness, before choosing disciples, the transfiguration, before giving the Lord's Prayer, for Peter, Garden of Gethsemane, on the cross. In early chapters, it strikes the note of joy and praise, the Ave Maris, the words of the angel to Mary. Whoa. Some of the great Christian hymns are taken from this gospel. Ave Maria, the words of the angel to Mary, the Magnificent Mary song, the Benedictus of Zacharias, the Gloria in Excelsia, the heavenly angels, the heavenly angels, the Nun Dimittis, rejoicing of Simeon. The greatly honors womanhood, women appearing prominently in Luke's narrative. In chapter 1, Mary, Elizabeth, Mary, his sister Martha. In chapter 10, the daughters of Jerusalem, several widows are mentioned. Very nice of him. In the biography of Christ, a synopsis. So the biography, gives. It's more complete in Luke than any of the other Gospels, so he really fills in all the gaps. Synopsis: an introduction, the beginning of his public ministry, the journey towards Jerusalem in the last days, events connected with the resurrection and ascension. And then we'll be in the lovely book of John, which is my favorite book. So Luke, just read the first chapter if I can get some in. For so much as many have taken in hand to set forth in order of a declaration of those things which are most surely believed among us, even as they delivered them unto us, which is from the beginning, were eyewitnesses and ministers of the word. It seemed good to me also, having had perfect understanding of all things from the very first, to write unto thee in order, most excellent Theophilus, that thou mightest know the certainty of these things whereupon thou hast been instructed. There was in days of Herod the king of Judea a certain priest named Zacharias, of the course of Abia, and his wife was the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. And they were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord blameless. They had no child, because Elizabeth was barren, and they both were now well stricken in years. And it came to pass that while he executed the priest's office before God in order of his course, according to the customs of the priest office, his lot was to burn incense when he was in the temple of the Lord. And the whole multitude of the people were praying without at the time of incense. And there appeared unto him an angel of the Lord standing on the right side of the altar of incense. And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. But the angel said unto him, Fear not, Zacharias, for thy prayer is heard, and thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name John. And I'm going to stop there because I'm going to run out of time. That's first chapter, stopping at verse 14. We'll start 14, ending with verse 13. Okay, we have a blessed day. I'll talk to you really soon. Leave me a line if you can, if you have time. Take a listen to the song. I added some the right notes. Okay, bye.